Hello, I'm Yasser and welcome to Yasser TV. And today I'll be doing I'll be covering some of the injury news that we heard of in the last couple of weeks. Talking about some of the players that are coming back and more than that as well. We'll cover some of that kind of stuff. And yeah, like I said before I start, make sure you like the video. We're almost at 1K. Subscribe to the channel. l- Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. I read all the comments, so I try to respond to all of them as well. So make sure you do that and hype the video if you can. Other than that, let's get into it now. If I get into yeah, we'll do it like this. We'll start on what's happening now, and then I'll cover some other players. Obviously, the main ones are Cole Palmer, Badiashile, and Isugo, who look like they're actually coming back. The players that are out are obviously still Colwill, and I'll be covering the latest news on him as well. You have Lavia who got injured against Karabakh. I'll be covering all that. But let's get into this. This is what came out earlier today, I think. No, that came out yesterday. Chelsea expect Badiashile, Cole Palmer, Isugo back in the coming weeks. Badiashile and Palmer progressing very well. Could make Barca and Burnley possibly from the bench. Isugo needs a bit more time, but he is ahead of schedule. Now, that's obviously quite positive news. We don't really, I think with Palmer, I'm one of them that's thinking more like keep him. Um, let's actually just keep him in on, not really play him against Burnley. Now, I think let's just give him that extra time. Don't take that risk. And then we can play him against Barcelona. Now, some people say maybe bring him on at the end, give him a bit of get him in the game a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Then get him into the actual Champions League game. But I think I will leave that for the managers and that to decide. We obviously don't necessarily know his actual fitness levels and is he ready. I've heard some stuff. I've read some stuff. I think a couple of weeks back that was saying that he isn't actually injured. Injured. They just really want to make sure that he gets back in his groin actually doesn't put any stress on his groin so he can get back to normal, and then we'll see if he can play some games. So rest him as much as they can. We'll see about that though. Getting into the first person that I wanted to talk about, Mr. Benoit Badiashile. Um, here from Chelsea Dodgers, the aggregator, and I think it's the source is Bobby Vincent. Badiashile is progressing well with his rehabilitation, and there is a chance of him returning to the squad against Burnley, though the Frenchman is yet to take part in full training. Now, obviously, for people that remember, he came back against Liverpool, played really well, but got injured in that game. And then we haven't really seen him since. Obviously, he's injured, so we'll see. They were saying about international break, stuff like that. But then I think we saw a picture of him back on the grass training. So that's also very good news for us. Do you know what I'm saying? I think him and Fofana are technically, in my opinion, at this moment in time, the best centre back pairings that we have. As a duo, I think he's got that passing ability. He's calm on the ball, and he's good defensively as well. So I think that helps. We know that in the last couple of years, when we have seen him play, it's been a bit shaky and stuff like that. But I still think there's a very good player there in Badiashile. I think it's just the partnerships. I think this season we learned about having the right partnership, having the right players playing with each other in terms of as a partnership. I think if we really kind of think about it, you can play Badiashile with maybe Badiashile, and for me it's Fofana, Colwill, and Badiashile, who I believe are our best centre backs. And then you can put Achapong there, but he's young, so I'm not necessarily forcing him in that conversation yet. But I think that he's one of those players, right? And then I think everyone else are more squad players when it comes to that two centre back positions, right? And I think the more you think about who you would put together, it just has to work. Like even if one's a more on the front foot defender, the one that comes out. The other one's more of like, they just have to complement each other, in my opinion, when it comes to that. So I think you can't, like, even if you see Fofana play with Chalobah, it works. You can't have Fofana. Sorry, you can't have Chalobah playing with Tosin. You can't have like those other partnerships that we've seen that look like squad players playing together. It just doesn't work for us, and it like even last season you had the Colwill and Chalobah partnership that worked. A Colwill and but a Tosin that that wasn't bad at all. So it has to be one of those one of the good ones with another one of the squad player ones. That's the only one that works. Anything else just seems to be a bit too much. But that's for Badiashile, I think so far. Another defender that seems like might be getting we might see a little bit more than we thought we would is Mr. Axel Disasi. You know what I'm saying? He looks like he's lost a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we all know he is part of the what we call in Chelsea the bomb squad. And Axel Disasi is hoping Chelsea may relax their position and allow him to play for the first team again in the coming weeks. Now, Axel Disasi is not registered in the Premier League or the Champions League squad, which then tells me that if he does end up playing, he would end up playing for maybe in like the FA Cup games, Carabao Cup games, that kind of thing, right? Um, is it a bad thing to have? No, but I also know that they want to play him to kind of put him in the to kind of start to put him on the shop window for sale, and I think he has to at that point they want him to have a bit more match fitness and also people that are gonna try buy him. They you kind of have to kind of remind them, by the way, Chelsea still have Badiashile. Sorry, still have Axel Disasi in the squad. Do you know what I mean? If you're looking for a centre back, we have one for sale. So, look, I think what I've read earlier as well was that Chelsea, I mean, they kind of rewarding him with this in some ways, bringing him around the first team squad, and them training with the first team squad and stuff like that. And I think they're doing it because of how he's been carrying himself, his professionalism and stuff like that, in terms of like how, yeah, how he's been behaving around the academy, like being one of the older guys to, you know, basically he's carried himself very professionally and really well. And I think they want to kind of start pushing him back into the kind of reward him by putting him in with the first, let him train with the first team squad and stuff. And I think, look, I don't have any problems with that in my opinion. I think, look, if they're gonna end up selling him, then it is what it is. I just don't necessarily think there's a space for him in the team right now. I don't think we need a right-sided centre back. Do you know what I mean? Right now, especially with someone that is not gonna raise the levels, or actually that's much better than what we have, if that makes sense. So we'll keep that one out. With we will move on now to, yeah, I'll quickly sum up we'll go over to Mr. Pedro Neto. Mr. Pedro Neto has actually has been released from the national team. This come out 3 days ago, I think. Yeah, he got released from the national team. He will not be part of the squad under Martinez. A decision made jointly by Chelsea's medical team and the FPF's health and performance directorate due to physical problems that limit the player. And I think what I read a couple of days ago was they had to do it was had something to do with his groin. I think it's probably just a resting. Do you know what I mean? We've been doing that a lot recently, and obviously this is being filmed on the Friday, so Portugal ended up losing to Ireland. I think it was 2-0. Ronaldo got sent off. And I think, to be honest, with the way that team's going, with that manager as well, it would have been just a waste of energy to play Neto in that game. Do you know what I'm saying? It was just a waste of energy because he ended up bringing on Trincao and um, Leao and some other players just late on the game after he's already been 2-0 down. And I think it was even after Ronaldo got sent off. So he would have probably tried to start him and then, like, it's just one of those things, resting. We also know everyone that's been watching Chelsea as well knows how much energy Pedro Neto puts on the pitch with his running and defending and stuff like that. Of course, we want to see more of him offensively, in the attacking third, but he's one of those people that had that few hamstring injuries and stuff like that, and usually you don't really want to be seeing those players running as much as he's doing. So I think it's one of those where he's got the rest, and I think that's fine. Give him the rest, make sure he's back. I think I really, really want to win the Barca and Arsenal game, bro. Like, I want to win both of them. So whatever, yeah, both of them. You know, big up once. But for me, it's very important. Of course, I want to win Burnley too. Before anyone says, "What about Burnley?" Of course, I want to win all the games, but those two specifically, we need to try our best to win against Barcelona. And I think they all kind of play in our hands with the high line, and also I think we need the points because of obviously the draw against Karabakh. We didn't necessarily put ourselves in the best position, and I'd rather get all automatic qualifications. I don't think we need any extra, you know, extra games to play, and I don't think we need any of that. So that's one of them, and yeah, I want to make sure I beat Arsenal, and it's been a while since we beat Arsenal, so it's just one of those where I want to make sure we end up beating Arsenal. So it is what it is about that. Now, if I go quickly, and I also got some news about Colwill. Colwill Confidential understands Colwill's recovery is going perfectly to plan, that he's suffered no setbacks, and that he's now been off crutches for more than a month. And he remains on target in his rehab. Hopefully, we'll get to see him before the end of the season. Now, I don't necessarily think that I will really wanna be seeing Colwill like early. I think with the type of injury that he had, the ACL injury, it's been very unfortunate. The type of injury that he got, but at the same time, for me, it's just I am one of those people that just I'd rather not play the player, make sure that he comes back 100%, then try to risk the player to come back when he's not fit. So I think for me, that's just a thing where I just feel like we need to make sure he's fully fit before we bring him back. I don't want to rush him back. Get a centre back or something in January. You have another opportunity to solve an issue or salvage your season or kind of bring it back to the levels that it needs to be when you go shopping in the January transfer window. I think those are the important things for me in that aspect when it comes to that anyway. Yeah, can't wait to be fair. Can't wait to see Colwell back. That's the honest truth. But I'd rather him back when he's fully fit. I don't want to see any players back when they're not fully fit. Now, we've done a little bit of positive stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? But to be fair, we'll stick with the positive stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll show you this and then I'll show you the one negative left at the end. It's not really a negative, it's a bit more of like not necessarily the nicest news, but it's what it is. Going now to Mr. Cole Palmer. You know what I mean? Palmer's return to team training is fairly close. The target is for Chelsea's match. The target is for Chelsea's match against Barca because the player would love to play in such a historic match. However, Chelsea do not run a rushing back, so it just depends on his fitness. I think we will probably see him in the Barcelona game, and I think for me, if we don't see him start, which kind of would be strange, I don't see him not coming off the bench. I think the least involvement he would get in that game is coming off the bench. Other than that, and I think depending on the game, how the game goes, if we're just up and we've really beaten them, similar to what we've done to like a PSG or something, you might just bring him off the bench, or if he started, you take him off. But other than that, I can't wait to see Palmer back in terms of that. We just need that creativity, you know what I'm saying? We need that creativity. We need someone that can unlock the door. We need someone that can do something out of nothing in certain games that we haven't been performing at, like a Sunderland, like a we had that example as well against Brentford and some other games. I can't wait to get Palmer back. I'm not one of those guys that's like, where is he gonna play? And no, just find the way. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Palmer on the right, I don't really mind. I think even you can put Palmer on the right and Neto on the left. I think the left wingers we have right now, it's just, for me, I know everyone's really gassing up Garnacho. I think he had a good performance in the last game. But besides that, I think even Neto can do a job on the left. You know what I'm saying? And he'll always be on his stronger foot, so he can't cross the ball in the box too. You know what I mean? Less thinking, more action. Yeah, then we can put Palmer on the right, Pedro in the 10, João Pedro in the 10, and obviously I'll strike up front with in the lap. So, or if the manager wants to still play him in the 10, that's is what it is for me. It's fine. Do you know what I mean? And do what he did in the Club World Cup where he starts Pedro or he starts the lap and then he substitutes at certain times. So we have a lot of options in that perspective, but I'm fine with yeah, can't wait for Palmer to come back and hopefully he helps us change the season. Obviously he's a very important player, like you guys know. So now I'm gonna go back to the bit that I didn't really want to talk about, but I have to talk about it because it's important. Important. If you're still watching, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let me know what you want to see in terms of content in the future. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, we'll keep going now. Last topic before I end the show or end the video. Um, so I'm used to doing live videos, so it's a bit different. Now, Romeo Lavia. Let me tell you some stuff about Romeo Lavia. Against Karabakh, the game against Karabakh. Look, I don't know, some people are blaming Maresca and I'm not really against it because I think he did do something that I didn't really expect from him at the time. I knew that his intentions were in the right place in terms of we want to rest Caicedo, and I'm with that as well. But if you really think about what happened, we took Lavia, who just returned from injury, played the Liverpool game. I think played a game after that as well. I don't remember what it was, but he played literally one or two games. And then we decided, or well, the manager decided, he wants to rest Caicedo, which I understand. But he ended up playing Lavia on AstroTurf at Karabakh. That's just the bit I didn't understand because he ended up playing Caicedo 85 minutes or 80 something minutes anyway. So it kind of didn't make sense. So now you've lost the player and he still played the player you wanted to rest. The balance ain't there. Do you know what I mean? I think in that I wouldn't have taken someone with bad knees or that kind of like players who don't like people with bad knees or not necessarily the right fitness or strength in that moment in time to go play in the AstroTurf. I think that was the wrong decision. But yeah, man, then we got the news saying that he'll be out for at least 1 month due to a quad injury. Obviously, if it's on schedule when he's back in within that month, it says that Romeo Lavia is on schedule. Yeah, if Romeo Lavia is on schedule, then his first game back could be the home clash with Everton on December 13th, meaning he's set to miss 6 games between now and then due to the injury. Now, a lot of people have been saying, Lavia, we should be going now, you can't stay fit, and blah blah blah. And to be fair, I think for Lavia, for Fana, I think they were in that similar position for me in terms of you've got your surgery done or you've got whatever done now, you're back, you're in that space now which Reece James was in after he came back. And like, how long can you stay fit? Is this the time now where you get managed and then you know what I'm saying, get back into it? And I think it's just been one of those situations for me, man. It's just been one of those situations for me. The reason I'm not necessarily that onto Lavia for me personally is that because he's very like when he comes back, every time he's come back from his injury, whether people want to say it's against Liverpool every single time or whatever it is, every time he's been back, he's been playing at that level, like literally at that level. His levels don't necessarily drop. I can probably only think of like one game that I think like okay, yeah, he wasn't that good. I don't remember what game it was, but I remember how recently where even Lavia was born. I was thinking, okay, no, that wasn't good. Could even be I can't remember the game on top of my head, but he had that game in recent times where he was poor as well. But putting that aside, I think for me personally, because every time he comes back and he's at that level and it's not, he needs a month to get back to his sharpness. He needs a month for his sharpness. He needs another month for this and another month for that. I can live with him being someone that's trying to get back, and I feel for Lavia, bro. someone that is as talented as him, how good he is on the ball and what he provides us, what he allows us to do in some of those big games when he does play, sitting back, letting Caicedo go a bit further forward, and all these kind of things helps us a lot. But at the same time, I'm in a spot here. I'm not really in a spot yet to say, yo, get him out. And I think maybe wait till the end of the season kind of thing and then kind of make my judgment on that. But yeah, man, it was very sad seeing him getting injured, like, and even seeing his reaction after the get like in the game against Karabakh. Do you know what I mean? It was like, not again. Do you know? That it was one of those, even for him, he was like, bro, and you can see that he really wants to play, and it's just, yeah, man, it's just one of those. Listen, I can't wait. I can't wait for him to come back too. But my final decision in terms of what I think of Lavia and do we think we want to keep him? Should we get another player? We've already heard rumors about Anderson, this, Wharton, and this and that. Look, for me personally, let's wait till the end of the season. Let's see if he does return his form. But all these things do go back to one player as well, which is Caicedo for us. Right, Caicedo seems to be a guy who, at this moment in time, looks bulletproof. Do you know what I'm saying? Bulletproof. He's playing every game. I think he's played 940 minutes out of 950 minutes, which I seen that earlier as well, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I think 908 out of 980 minutes, he's played 940 or 945, somewhere around that number, right? And I think for me, there's a few times this season where we've seen him limp, specifically the Wolves game, and some other games where he got tackled and he stayed on his floor, he grabs his knee, and of course the main reason that he's not getting rest is the Isugo injury, which was very unfortunate, right? But maybe if like a Lavia was fit, he'd play his role. Maybe if there was another player fit, he'd play his role. Like, I think with all the midfielders fit, we can see other players getting more rest, but in this moment in time, it's not looking good for Caicedo in terms of his rest in it. I hope he lasts. I hope he doesn't get injured. Do you know what I'm saying? Because for me, he's our most important player. As much as I rate Cole Palmer, as much as I rate Estevao, as much as I rate Fofana and Cucurella and Reece James, Caicedo is what holds our midfield and almost the whole team together. Do you know what I'm saying? His even saves us in games as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, he's very important, very, very crucial to our team. And at the end of the day, look, I just hope that some of those players that we mentioned in the beginning come back and help us to, like I said earlier, help us to go and beat Barca and also help us beat Arsenal. Those are very important things to be, it's very, very important. I want to stay in a good position in the Champions League, and also make sure we keep getting that, we're keeping that momentum as well from Wolves, and also going into that. I'm saying we got Burnley, Barcelona, and then obviously Arsenal on the weekend. So those are the fixtures coming up after the international break. So other than that, I would like to thank anyone for watching. Thank you very much if you watched all the way till here. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I think we're not really far from 1K. So anyone that subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.